So even though we were denied the ultimate prize in the league, the dream continues because for all intents and purposes, we had an excellent season. We're going to look back on the 2027 season, look ahead to 2028, evaluate our squad, and reload for our next run at the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And welcome back, everyone, to episode number 28 of The American Dream. I'm Mr. Cellophane. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. If you've enjoyed the series so far, make sure you drop a like. That would be absolutely fantastic. Vancouver Football Club had a very good season in 2027. It's going to be tough picking a signing of the season. I would not have picked Paul Amadume. No, I would have picked either Juan David Pertuz. I would have picked Sammy El Anabi. I would have picked Juan Castillo. I may have even picked Cameron Habibullah. Amadume, not so sure because I don't know if he's going to survive till next season. Of the outs, we finally got rid of Callum Irving, Elliot Simmons. It was sad to see him go, but we got $53,000 for him. Rocco Romeo sold for $125,000 to Halifax Wanderers, where he did absolutely nothing offensively, and that works out for me. And it was a little sad for me because it was the first signing that I made, but Tyler Pasher heading to Jamaica for €51,000. As we saw last episode, we did qualify for first place or the number one seed in the playoffs. Sadly, we lost 1-0 on a penalty after we missed a penalty of our own to Forge FC, and they hoisted the trophy on our ground. We must do better for next year. We got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Canadian Championship, once again by Vancouver Whitecaps. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. And we did make it to the Champions Cup, but Pumas was just too much for us, beating us 4-1 on aggregate, hoping to do a little better in that competition this year as well. Hopefully we sell as many shirts this coming year as we did last. Mo Farsi and Zorhan Basang were among the top 5 shirt sellers, neither of whom is probably going to be on this team. Mo Farsi, I can almost guarantee it. Zorhan Basang, well, we'll see. Still can't believe they gave a guy who had an average rating of 6.8 our signing of the season. The fans player of the year was Isaiah Johnston. Young player was Alain Didier. Goal of the season went to Yevhen Ryazantsev. Didier had 11 goals. He led the team. Most assists for Juan Castillo of all players. Isaiah Johnston, the most man of the match awards with 6. He also garnered the highest rating and the most passes completed per 90 minutes. Noah Verhoeven scored the most goals in the match. I guess it was the first time we had ever scored a brace. That doesn't really seem to make any sense. George Marks, 16 clean sheets. Elliot Simmons, with the worst discipline, picked up 5 yellow cards. And the most league goals by a player in a season for Vancouver FC went to Alain Didier with 24. That has to be all time because he only scored 11 this year. The Canadian Premier League Players Player of the Year, as we mentioned, was Isaiah Johnston. He was also the League Player of the Year. Goalkeeper of the Year was George Marks, and the Premier League Best U21 player, Alain Didier. Some minor changes to the club expectations. We've worked towards repairing the club's financial damage, which kind of isn't really our fault. There's not a lot of money to be made in the Canadian Premier League. There's no prize money for participating in the league itself. So maybe we need to get deeper into the Canadian Cup and, of course, the CONCACAF Champions Cup. That's where all the money is made. Then we have to work on challenging toward the league title in years to come, which we've kind of already done. So we're going to accept that with no problem. And the season team meeting went off without a hitch, which is a very good thing. We must address, however, our depth and our players that are going to be out of contract in just a couple of months. And that list is 10 players deep and some notable names on there. James Griffard, Zorhan Basang, Mo Farsi leading the way. Jaden Jones-Riley came in on loan. Obviously, he's going to be going back to his parent club at St. Louis City at the end of the year. Now, a number of these guys are younger players that never really fit into our squad. Wes Schaffner, Itzik Maul, and Kyle Lever, Alex Thompson among them. James Cameron, we may need to give a look to because he is a fullback and he is versatile enough to play potentially both the left and right wing backs. as a backup option if we don't find many more good ones out on the market. Paris G, I think his time is up, even though his contract doesn't expire till the end of next year. We're probably going to be looking to move him on. Elal Khanousi, I like him in general. He can probably do better. James Griffard, I would like to re-sign. Now, he is 33 years old. He did have, in the end, a very good season with us. 3 goals, 1 assist in the league, 5-1 overall. The only issue is he is currently on $650 a week. I don't think that he is going to accept any less than that. Last time I offered him a contract, he wanted like $2,000. Now, we did have to promise that he's going to be an important player, but for us, he honestly is. I'm going to give him this deal, $525 a week, $2,900 in loyalty bonus. Sure, no problem. Done deal. James Griffard is back in the fold. Was hoping we could work the same magic with Zorhan Basong and Mo Farsi. Zorhan Basong has decided that he's not even going to talk to us at all. He won't even enter into negotiations because he wants to explore his options at the end of the contract. And yeah, Mo Farsi, he's gone. Wait, Football Manager's moving the bar on me. Last episode, we talked about how George Marks was like uber close to being able to qualify for Canadian nationality. He's now completed 913 days. I think he needed 917. But now, all of a sudden, it's saying he has to be here for 1,095 days accumulatively, which means he has 182 days left. What is going on back there? So heading into the transfer window, here's how we stack up what the team looks like. We are going to need some additional depth in goal. George Marks, Stuart Murray, obviously are set, but having a third body will go a long way. Same thing on the back line. We're set with El Inabi, Abatna, and James Griffard, assuming he does finally put his signature on his brand new contract. As our primary 3, we just need to figure out what we're going to do behind them. We've got Paris G, we've got Amadume, 2 options that I think we need to move on from. Juan Castillo is going to get the start as our left wing back. Noah Abatna could fill in there, except, he's starting. Paris G could fill in there, but he may not be back. Juan David Pertuz is our best option on the right. Matteo Schiavone is going to be here, although most likely starting in the midfield. Potentially, he could back up there, as could Noah Abatna. So we definitely need at least one more versatile left/right wing back. In the midfield, this is where things get a little dicey. Just looking at star ratings alone. We love Isaiah Johnston. We love what he does. We love Noah Verhoeven. We love what he does. And we've been very happy with Matteo Schiavone. Could we improve in those positions? Probably. Cameron Habibullah, ratings-wise, has developed into a better player than Noah Verhoeven. So do we give him the opportunity as the advanced playmaker or whatever role we choose? I'm not 100% sold on advanced playmaker at this point, to be honest with you. We could maybe figure out something to do with the number 10 position, but that's neither here nor there. Right now, Cameron Habibullah is actually the top choice. So in the midfield too, it is most likely going to be a rotation between Schiavone, Verhoeven, and Johnston, unless we get somebody else in there. Now, Ryan Beecher is still around. He can back up the number 10. He can back up the striker. Our strikers are most likely going to be a rotation of Yevhen Ryazantsev, Alain Didier, and Mohamedou Kane, with Beecher getting some occasional playing time. So I think we're kind of set up front, even though, again, star ratings wise, it doesn't look great. We know that Mohamedou Kane is a fan favorite. We know what he can do. We know what he brings. Alain Didier, obviously the best U21 player in the league. He will still be U21, I believe, for next year. We do have to be very cognizant about U21 minutes as well, because our squad as a whole is getting a little bit older. We've got a ton of 22, 23, 24-year-olds, which is great. Only the 2 20-year-old players in Didier and Stuart Murray, which means that Murray may need to get some more starts during the season versus George Marks in order to boost those numbers if we cannot find U21 players to handle the other roles. It's not going to be Malul or Lever or Thompson or Schaffner, I can tell you that. We may be 1.2 million in the hole, but our board just loves splashing the cash for those coaching courses, don't they? James Griffard has put pen to paper on a new 2-year deal, $525 a week. He's actually making less now than he was before. Yes, he's 33, but he's still fantastic. We also decided to stick with the devil you know, Elon Canusi, signing a new 2-year deal. Only $275 a week. We figured we couldn't go wrong for the 25-year-old. He is Canadian. He is willing to be a backup, and he is a serviceable backup. We've used him. I felt comfortable putting him out there, even though we saw very limited time this year. I mean, he only made 7 appearances, 8 if you include the Canadian Championship. He did a job, and that's all we need him to do. Dante Campbell could be an interesting addition. Yeah, he's 28 years old, but he's very versatile, especially on the right-hand side, so we could easily back up on that right wing back position. We could probably try to teach him to play on the left-hand side, although he's got the trait of running down with the ball on the right, so that may not jive. 3 U21 caps for Canada. He's at Valor FC. His contract is coming up. He's got some pace on him. His physicals are actually pretty good. I love the natural fitness, so the age doesn't worry me all that much. Positioning is good. Tackling is good. Marking could use a little bit of work, but it's fine. Generally, pretty nice looking player. And he could even back up in the midfield if necessary. So he could be Shivani 2.0. The challenge with Campbell, I think, is going to be his wages, because I think he's going to want $1,300 for an 11-month contract. I can't really do that. Let's see if we can do $950. $975 for a backup. A little bit more than I was hoping to pay, but we may have some money issues down the road. Although we do have plenty of money, because we're not planning on using any of our transfer budget except for paying these signing bonuses. So Dante Campbell, let's just hope he accepts. Now, much like last year, we are going to have to try to front load as much of our transfer business as possible, because if you remember, even though the season doesn't begin until April, the CONCACAF Champions Cup starts at the end of the first week of February, and the transfer window doesn't open until January 31st. So we need to make sure we have everything done and everyone bedded in a week before the competition. A surprising amount of activity in the Canadian Premier League draft. In the first 6 picks, we're picking 7th, or at least we're slated to pick 7th. 4 players have already been selected. Now, of the players available, there was one player that I was interested in, and that was 20-year-old center defenseman Stefan Eschart, who ended up getting drafted by York United. Would have been perfect. 6'2", decent amount of pace, 17 jumping reach. Everything that I love in a center defenseman. Tackling, not so great, but okay, fine, whatever. Still would have been nice, but he's going somewhere else, because there's nobody else that really floats my boat. We're going to pass this year on the draft. I mean, seriously, the 1 year we don't have the first pick. Don't these teams know the restrictions that I set upon myself and Billy Flynn and which jobs he can and cannot take? Yet another MLS club is in for our services, LAFC, offering a job interview, which, if we were doing this challenge in a different way, would be kind of a tasty option. LAFC is a pretty nice squad. However, no Liga MX, no MLS. Job interview offer declined. Guess things ain't going so well for Rocco Romeo at Halifax Wanderers. An intermediary has suggested that maybe we sign him. For $225, yeah, I don't think so. Something that maybe I should be considering is the fact that we do have Hayden Sargis on our roster. Now, we have been trying to shoehorn him into a central midfield position, and while I think he's played very well there, 6.98 rating in 6 appearances for the club, not bad. He's still a center back at heart, and if we do need that extra depth, maybe we just use him where he wants to be played, because we may have another spot opening up. While I love the play of Sammy El Anabe, also a 6.98 rating as a center back, this time in 29 matches, he did contribute a pair of goals and an assist. So he was a very solid player for us, and I saw him make a lot of nice defensive plays. He's 27 years old, and I'm not being ageist here, but he's making $1,400 a week, so he's one of our highest paid players. He does have some transfer value, and as a Belgian, he is a foreign player. So while El Anabi does factor into our plans, if someone were to come in for him, I think it would be okay if he went. I mean, not that we're actively looking to make a move away from Vancouver FC. We've had a lot of success here. We've won the league the regular season, at least. The last 2 years in a row, we would like to hoist that trophy. It's our second season making the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I do want to see how that plays out, see if we can build on what we were able to do last year. I think we got a really rough draw in Pumas, to be fair. Maybe things could be just a touch easier for us this year and we get a little bit further in the competition, but we do have to consider if Vancouver FC is going to be our final destination. Now, we are contracted here till the end of 2039, so we're not looking to make a move, but it would be nice if maybe one of the teams that could compete in one of the leagues we could manage in came to our door and said, hey, come talk to us. Okay, I admit, had a moment of panic because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get rid of guys, and I wanted to make sure that we just had everything all set up. James Cameron had a 1-year extension clause. We decided to trigger it on the 22-year-old, which just give us some additional depth at the wingback positions. He was unhappy about that, so we've told him that we will sell him at the earliest opportunity. Sadly, though, I don't know if that opportunity is really going to come, but we'll try our best. Yeah, the agent didn't think anything could get done. No intermediary wanted to touch him, so we'll see. Well, the December 31st culling has begun as Zorhan Basang has officially left the club. And not far behind him, our captain, Mo Farsi. This one still hurts because he wanted just way too much money, and then he refused to even consider anything. He wouldn't even talk about anything even close to the kind of contract that he was under. And he was making $1,400 a week. So he was one of our highest paid players. He was our team captain, and he was fantastic on the pitch when his mind was there. Once he decided he was going to go, he went. Well, the good news is Lionel Messi is retired. The bad news is we've drawn his former club, Inter Miami, in the first round of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yeah, it's going to be quite the challenge. If we get through them, however, we will take on CS Cartagenes out of Costa Rica in the round of 16. Something to shoot for. Out of curiosity, just taking a quick peek at the job situation around our little world. Now, there are a couple of positions available with the Cuban National League. Las Tunas and Isla de la Juventud, two teams we considered before we joined Vorvarts. They're looking for managers once again. Countries that we'd probably be looking at this point: Cuba, perhaps Dominicana, although I think the Dominican Republic might be a little bit of a better option. El Salvador, not in the second division, though, unless we absolutely had to. Panama, same situation, first division, not second. Missing from this list are countries like Costa Rica and Honduras, which are probably going to be our best bets as a manager to try to complete this challenge, obviously because we can't do MLS or Mexico. We will keep our eye on this. Vorvarts not looking for a new manager. Not that we are looking to go back to Suriname anytime soon. It was just a nice jumping off point, nothing more. First friendly of the year, we did beat Unity FC 3-0. The only reason I'm showing you this, normally we don't care about the friendlies, because we don't even manage them, but Hayden Sargis, in the second minute, scored the first goal for Vancouver FC, and he did it from central midfield. Named player of the match as well. Turns out that extending James Cameron's contract was probably the best thing we could have done. Instead of losing him on a free on December the 31st, we were able to sell him for $22,000 on January the 17th. Not a ton of money, still slightly below his value, but he is on his way to Rhode Island, so he's going to America. I hope he enjoys the trip. And we've got a little bit extra money to play with. Now, we are not going to be spending this as part of our transfer plans. We're going just down the free route wherever possible because, as you remember, our club is in slightly not great financial straits. We're over $1.2 million in the red, so every little bit we can bring in is going to help. But for every bit of good news, there is a bit of bad. As soon as we cleared way to make Juan Castillo the guy as our left back, he has decided that he wants to consider his options at the end of his contract, so we may not be able to keep him beyond the coming year. He's making $1,400 a week. We don't really have any other options right now at left back, so we're not looking to move him on at the moment. does have some value to him. We might be able to cash in if an offer does come in, and we'll just have to figure it out. We tried to offer him an extension, but by then it was too late. He doesn't want to talk to us right now. It is still very weird to me how our preseason begins, but we can't actually bring players in until right before the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The draw is happening today for the Canadian Championship. We took on Pacific FC in the first round last year. This year we get Victoria Highlanders, a team that we just actually played in a friendly. We beat them, not as soundly as I would have liked, but Victoria Highlanders in the league below us. So we got a very nice draw for the qualifying round. We should be able to move on to round number 2. And I just hope we don't get the Vancouver Whitecaps again. And finally, after like 3 months of clicking continue, we finally get to introduce you to our new players. A youngster that I am very excited about, except he injured his hip a week before he joined us. Sandro Ferrari, 19-year-old Canadian, not the fleetest of foot, but he's strong. His stamina is fantastic. He can actually jump quite a bit. He's 6 foot. Good with both feet. His first touch is decent. Passing vision, very good. Tackling, excellent. Good leadership qualities, so he is a potential future captain as well. Teamwork, positioning, absolutely wonderful. He can serve as our more defensive central midfielder when he comes back from injury. We did also add another center back for depth, 25-year-old Lucas Dasovic. Fantastic in the air, 6'2", decent all around in the position. Again, he's going to be our 4th or 5th choice. We just needed another body, $350 a week. Not a bad price. His fairly determined personality is also quite key, so he could do well mentoring some of the young guys coming through. Dante Campbell, general, all-around, versatile guy, can play in the central midfield, can play on the right-hand side as well. He's quick. His tackling ability is pretty good. 5'10", 152 pounds. Not the strongest, although not bad. Great fitness, though, so we can get a lot of minutes out of him. Bit pricey, $975 a week for the 28-year-old. We needed Canadians. We needed bodies. Dante Campbell fits the bill. We also needed to bolster our youth core, not only for the U21 minutes, but we do have to have at least 3 U21 players on the roster. I think we are definitely going to fit that bill. We reached out and picked up 20-year-old Canadian intelligence striker William Kalala. Only $250 a week. He's going to be a bit down on the depth chart. Doesn't have as high a ceiling as Alain Didier, but I think still a decent ball. Fantastic technique. He can finish. First touch is okay as well. Like the acceleration on him, 5'11". Not really super great in the air, but I think a very solid youngster. We can get some quality minutes out of him, and he can provide not only depth, but also rest opportunities, because as you know, we have a very tough schedule. It may only be 28 games long, but they really do know how to pack them in. And finally, we figured if you can't beat him, have him join you. We signed 19-year-old Non Wei on loan for the year from Atletico Ottawa. We were not able to, nor were we willing to pay his $650,000 transfer fee. We are paying his wages, only $450 a week. He is a very solid left back, and he could be the heir apparent, at least for this year, to Juan Castillo, should Castillo decide to move on, or if he pulls a Mo Farsi and just mentally shuts down on us. Which means that as of right now, everyone that can be registered has been registered, including Paris G. Now, we are still looking to move him on. We're only asking $4,500 at this point. Still no takers for the 33-year-old. He is probably going to be a casualty when we get Sandro back in from his hip injury. Right now, he has not been registered. Obviously, because as of right now, he does us no good. So the new guys only have one friendly under their belts. It was a 1-1 draw against Atlanta United, which earned us about $100,000. So, hey, all good. So we are going to go with the team that we ended the year with to start. I think we have bolstered our bench over where we were last year. George Marks is going to get the start in goal. It will be El Anabe, Abatna, and Gefrard as our back three. Castillo and Pertuz on the wings, with Sargis and Johnston manning the midfield. It'll be Noah Verhoeven at the 10, although Habibullah is on the bench and ready to go. I think he may be our man of the future. And up front is going to be Yevon Ryazantsev, and Alain Didier, last year's U21 Player of the Year. Nobody's really expecting a ton from us as we take on Jim Curtin's team. That's right, my head coach at the Philadelphia Union is now in Miami. I think we touched on that in an earlier episode. We were offered the Philadelphia job after he left, but obviously we did not take the opportunity to interview. It's going to be Inter Miami in the pink, Vancouver FC in the black, and an early opportunity for Inter Miami. Martinez sending it back post, will clank it off of the crossbar. Johnston able to get that one clear just 2 minutes in, and already Inter Miami on the attack. Castillo with a final third throw-in, getting it back from Sargis. Isaiah Johnston in control. Player of the Year, fans Player of the Year. Players Player of the Year. Didier off of the post, cleared away. Pertuz keeps it in, takes it deep, sends it, looking for Ryazantsev, and Maturo will deal with that. Sargis, though, collects, hoping to recycle it back in. Sargis moving it to his right, swept away from him, and Gray will take over. Brumado pushing it forward for Inter Miami. We played 23 minutes of this match, and it's 4-3 shots on goal in favor of Miami. Vancouver, though, the only team managing a shot on target so far in this one. I will take 0-0 at the end of the first half if that is what Football Manager wants to present us. Sometimes the game listens and actually does what you want it to do and not the actual opposite. 2 shots on target in the game, both of them to Vancouver FC. Hayden Sargis picking up a booking, so we've been unlucky so far. We need to dig in. Ryazantsev not having the greatest match so far, so we're going to keep our eye on him. Maybe Mohamedou Kane is going to need to come in sooner rather than later. Ryazantsev missing really a golden opportunity as he pushed the ball forward. On the corner, Castillo sending it in. Can't pick out Didier. It's popped high. Played away, finally cleared by Gray, but Isaiah Johnston will track it down. Now, the rain has begun to fall here in the February Miami evening. Abotna, Sargis, over the back line. Didier is in. Side angle shot, can't get there, but the rebound comes to Noah Verhoeven. He'll pot it home, his first goal of the year, and I think he scored the first goal of the year last year as well in this very competition. But 62 minutes in, it's Inter Miami 0, Vancouver FC 1. Beautiful ball in by Sargis. Didier saved by Klinsmann, but it ricocheted right into the path of Noah Verhoeven. Empty net, easy goal. Pertuz a bit knackered, so Dante Campbell is going to come in. We have also replaced Ryazantsev with Mohamedou Kane. So far, 7 shots on goal for Inter Miami, not a single one on target. Make it 8. George Marks has not had anything to do, and now that I've brought attention to it, he's going to get peppered with shots. 9 shots now without a single one on target for Inter Miami, and we are having the best game we could have possibly had. Obviously, we could have scored more goals, but on the road in Miami means things may look really good for leg number 2. Schaffenberg with the first shot on goal. We let him in. Guys, we have to do a better job. George Marks able to make the save. Corner kick sent in, far post. Abotna finally does get it clear. 4 minutes added on at the end of this match. Hopefully they go by without incident. Just the single shot on target for Inter Miami, and Vancouver pulls off what I believe is the near impossible. The fans thought we were going to lose. The board thought we were going to lose, but we held them to just the single shot on target. 1-0, Vancouver FC heading home for the second leg. So even though we exceeded expectations in the first leg, we are going to make one single solitary change for the home leg against Inter Miami. That is Mohamedou Kane coming in for Yevon Ryazantsev. He will drop down to the bench. Everybody else is going to remain the same. Marks, Elanabe, Abotna, Geffrard, Castillo, Pertuz, Sargis, Johnston, Verhoeven, and Didier will be joining him on the pitch. Frankly, nobody came into this competition expecting us to move on. We only have a 1-0 lead on aggregate. If we can hang on and Inter Miami doesn't adapt their game in any way, shape, or form to change what they were doing from the last match. They did manage 11 shots on goal. They only hit the target that one time, and it came late on. So if we can limit them to poor opportunities, and if we can control possession, then I think we are going to be in the catbird seat in this tie. But Zendejas with an early opportunity. El Anabi blocks it, clears it. Mohamedou Kane has it, and the counterattack is on. Kane pushes the ball away into the middle. Verhoeven looking for Kane again on the left, and he will slot it home into the bottom corner. 2 minutes in, Mohamedou Kane has given Vancouver FC the 1-0 lead on the night. It's going to make it 2-0 on aggregate. It will be upheld by VAR, and a beautiful give and go, even though Verhoeven did take that extra touch, but Mohamedou Kane got into an amazing shooting position. There was a perfect passing lane for Verhoeven. Second goal contribution of the year for Noah Verhoeven at the number 10. Mohamedou Kane, first goal of the season, 2-0. I love this. This is the kind of game. This is exactly what I was talking about. Limit Inter Miami to poor opportunities. Now, they are going to take and get their chances. Are they going to take advantage of them? If that play is any indication, probably not. Fatoa bringing it back in and feeding William Boving in the middle. He is going to slot it home. Now, the referee is going to consult with VAR. I think he may have been offside, but I would be wrong. Inter Miami already tripling the number of shots on target they had all of last match. Good clearance by Pertuz. But Fatoa will look to send it forward again for Inter Miami. Gray up that right wing along the edge of the box. Will drop it off, sent into the middle, and sent wide by McEntee. Thank goodness we scored that early goal. We are still 1 up on aggregate. It's 2-1 over the tie in favor of Vancouver FC. We are in control. Bit of pressure being put on by Inter Miami. Mohamedou Kane will just drop it back. Noah Abotna, he has picked up a yellow card here early on in this first half. Working it around. Pertuz back for Geffrard. Pertuz, again, feeding it through. He's got Didier. He's got a man in the middle. He'll take it himself, though. Put it into the far half of the net. His first goal of the year, and he may have been offside. So we'll wait for the VAR decision, and it will be awarded. Vancouver 2, Inter Miami 1 on the night. 3-1 up on aggregate. First goal of the year for Alain Didier. He did have options in the middle, although, to be fair, there were more Inter Miami players in the box than Vancouver players, so instead Didier opts to take it himself. He slots it past the goalkeeper to put us up 2-1. Now we just need to hang on. Piece of cake. Inter Miami, though, in control once again. 5 minutes left, and oh my goodness gracious. Benjamin Kramashi, from distance, picks up the ball out of the goal. That son is uncool. Off of the throw-in, and these throw-ins are just so overpowered. I don't know what it is about shots from range following a throw-in, but the odds of them going in just seem to be massively increased. We're now tied at 2 on the night. We still have the 3-2 lead on aggregate, but here comes Inter Miami once again. We have not even yet hit the half. Fatoa up that left wing. Into the middle, headed on and over by Bramato. Ultimately, no harm, no foul as the minutes tick away to halftime. 45 minutes left to go. We have a razor-thin 1-goal margin. 3-2 in this tie. And we did have to make a change. Lukas Dasovic coming in for Noah Abotna. 6.3 rating, not really good for your central defender in the back three. Also on a yellow card, very dangerous. I'd much rather get in a less experienced player to help try to see this match out till the end than to potentially lose a guy on a red card. McAfee, deep, Bramato. We just let him in. Gray got the header down. McAtee is there. He was pretty well covered. Honestly, you know what? Not 100% sure what we could have done there. But we are going to demand more from our team because they are still buzzing. Zendejas on the corner, headed wide. Thank God. I mean, honestly, our team is playing very well. Inter Miami is just able to take care of their business. Didier losing control. Ball knocked away. Pertuz picks it up. It's a 4-on-2 developing. Played in. Verhoeven knocked off, and Fatua is going to get it. And no foul called. So Inter Miami regaining control and pushing it forward once again. McAtee feeds Bramato. He had a runner up the left side but couldn't find him. Bramato across. McAtee shoots it wide. I think he was offside anyway. We're going to drop our defensive line just that tiny little bit. We're going to take it off the high press. I think we need to try to preserve everything that we possibly can in this match. We're going to distribute things a little bit slower as well. Obviously, we do need to score, but it isn't going to do us anything if Inter Miami is able to score first. We've only managed the 5 shots on goal. 4 of them have hit the target. 18 shots so far for Inter Miami, and they are looking for more. 10 minutes to go. Corner kick in. McAtee played back. Zendejas blocked, and Tyler Hall will put it home off of the rebound. And just like that, it is Vancouver 2, Inter Miami 4 on the night. 3-4 in favor of the MLS side on aggregate. Yevon Ryazantsev is looking to come in. He's going to replace Isaiah Johnston, who is still out there. Verhoeven, though, losing control. Zendejas going the other way. Now we've just gotten sloppy. And this is a prime example of what just absolutely chaps my butt about Football Manager as Boving picks up his second goal of the match. 5-2 Inter Miami. So it's not even going to matter at this point. We're down by 2 with less than 10 minutes to go. But we've reached the point where you have a team with a higher reputation players in Inter Miami, where all of a sudden it seems that Football Manager is like, Inter Miami is supposed to be winning this match. So in order to make that happen, we are going to make your team look as pathetic as humanly possible. And that's where you run into situations where players are dribbling with the ball and they'll just stop and get dispossessed as if they are a junior player. Kramashi, his second, off of the corner. Literally, 95th minute, 4 minutes added on. That came in almost at the 95-minute mark. They just wanted Inter Miami to score again. Vancouver 2, Inter Miami 6, and I've seen enough. All I can honestly hope is that the team sees this as a learning experience and a building block. I have had far too many experiences in Football Manager 24 where after losing a big tie like this against a far superior team, all of a sudden your team goes into the toilet. Hopefully that will not happen. We do have a ton of friendlies to play because we've got a month and a half now before the regular season starts, and that is coming up tomorrow. We're actually going to skip the first match of the season as far as live commentary is concerned. We're going to start with round 1 of the Canadian Championship because I'm fairly certain we're going to move on to round 2, so we should have both of those matches as live commentaries tomorrow. If you liked watching us get drubbed by Inter Miami, make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you are new or if you have not done so already. If this is your first time with us, welcome in. I hope you enjoy the ride. Now go back and watch the rest of the series. But thank you very much for being here and for your support. If you have made it this far, what is your favorite sport outside of football? And bonus question, what is your favorite team in that sport? I'll let you know mine in the comments as well. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow. Be safe, stay cool. Bye-bye.